In this episode, we talk about working from home, or the car, or the caravan, or the boat, anywhere you might be, and cultural competence that goes with it. Stick around. Welcome everybody, episode 84, Two Chaps Many Cultures, coming to you from various locations. Where are you,
Undisclosed locations.
It is undisclosed location.
In my office, obviously, can't you tell?
Absolutely,
See,
absolutely.
There's a bookshelf right there.
This is where you need somebody needs to come up with a green screen for a car. This is the new normal in virtual communication.
Well, as you can see here in my name tag says WFC. It's not work from home, it's work from car.
Work from car. Very good. Very good. Yes. And what has prompted this the chain of events? Of course, it's forced, isn't it?
No, it's completely my flexibility in the behaviors, right?
Okay. Oh, yes, of course.
Seriously, the southeastern United States has seen a Hurricane 𝙏𝙬𝙤 and 𝙤𝙬 bore some offspring overnight, some more storms that came about at the fringes of 𝙤𝙬, and here where I live, it knocked the power out and knocked the internet out. So there is no other power than the power in this vehicle. So that's all I can do right now.
They came and toilet papered the neighborhood and the power's gone. Those kids, those pesky kids. Anyway, not a problem. Not a problem. Well, of course, here we are. We're talking about working from home or wherever you decide to work from, of course, and what does it take to be culturally competent when we're looking for talent, when we're actually putting ourselves out there as far as talent is concerned, and what level does cultural competence come into play in those settings? So we're going to touch on that for a short time today, maybe.
And I had a couple of conversations in the last few weeks with recruiters, with human resources professionals, with marketers, also with IT specialists, and they all basically told me the same story. The story is, well, since everybody's, or most of the professionals in our field are now working remotely, working from home or from the home office, and we still need qualified talent, we are not hiring locally bound anymore. It used to be that we were looking for talent that could come to the office, would be within, let's say, an hour driving or commute. Right now, this metric or this bullet point in the job description is irrelevant. So we can hire anyone, anywhere, as long as they fit the job description and they speak the language that we want them to speak in the job, and they're within time zones that are manageable for us.
So what part do you think that they've, sorry to interrupt, but what part do you think that they've anticipated a change, or at least implemented any change in terms of what possibly might have been an ethnocentric type of framework in which they hired in, even though they might be quite able, or they might be down the track of diversity in terms of their local talent, but now they've got this wider scope, right? I'm thinking perhaps even the local talent have some kind of idea on what a local ethnocentric approach would be to hiring, so they might find themselves matching that. But now they've got this wider scope. The people in this wider field may not have that local knowledge, and do you think that is something that they're coming across?
I'm sure that is one aspect. I think another aspect is that now that they're fishing in a bigger pond or in the wide ocean, so to say, that they're the talent pool from which they're selecting the best candidates for the roles that they are filling, the restrictions that they used to have in terms of geography, they don't play a role anymore. So now they're hiring, let's say here in North America, they would be hiring in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, French-speaking Canada, which would still be in the relatively same time zone.
Yeah.
Or they hire across the globe. And that means that working efficiently with these new hires, they need to be onboarded to their corporate culture, and the existing talent in the organization needs to have the cultural intelligence to work efficiently with these new hires.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure, this is the first time we've done this from your phone. Do you see the comments? do you see
I
the
am seeing a
comments?
comment from a former guest, Stephen.
There you go, yes. Good, I wasn't sure. I thought I'd put it up there and say, so Stephen says, thanks for the topic.
Thank you.
Good deep dive, right? And it does take a deep dive. And I'm not a HR professional, so I'm not speaking from the world of experience here. But obviously the people that we work through in terms of getting to the clients, sometimes we'll work with HR professionals. And what I've found is that there's if they're willing to kind of come along for the ride in terms of letting us at least message some of what we do in terms of their outreach to potential candidates or even mobility people that are taking on jobs, is that there might be even a perception from a cultural perspective of, why would I do this? Why is it important that I think about culture? Why do I have to become competent? Why do I have to be curious, right? And so that comes with messaging. I'm just going through a situation with that at the moment where I was told there is a certain perception about what we're putting forward to them. And I said, well, I can see why that would be. So the message has to be approached in the right way so that they're open to it, to affirm what they've already got, what the skill set they've already got, but also what can they build on that? What can be the additional skills that they can impart for the profession or the position they're going into.
And just because I'm curious about what companies that are hiring in this current environment, I check on LinkedIn quite frequently what the job openings are in certain industries or in the industries that we work with.
Oh, disappeared. Well, I'm not sure. There you go. You're back. Somebody called you, didn't they?
Of course, somebody called me. Despite the do not disturb, it does not matter. Technology. So let this be a lesson. Working from a car adds another few obstacles. So here's what I was gonna say. So I'm looking at these job descriptions that are posted online, and one common denominator I see across the board, what employers are looking for now is flexibility, great communication skills, great skills with virtual communication tools. I read a lot about, we need somebody that has a proven track record of empathetic behavior, being well versed with inclusion and diversity. So all of these factors that touch our work and that we've been preaching from the top of the towers for years, they have permeated the workplace already. So in this current environment, there is no more, this would be a nice to have. This is what they put in the bullet points of, this is what we look for. Right. Don't bother calling us or applying if you don't have this. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the other day we talked about leadership in the same context. You know, empathetic leadership and kind of more digital approach, so that when you hire these people, they're going to be working with leaders that are kind of already realizing that this is the way they have to go. So we would hope no matter what culture they come from, we would hope that there was a match up, at least in that terms of the flat line of of yes, more empathetic, expecting more empathy from an employer, and also expecting those skills to be in place. And then you can kind of, I guess that we always talk about, and we always preach about the open-mindedness, a curiosity, to take the time. That empathy helps in that, to take the time to get to know what is the cultural or the cultural approach or style that this person might bring. You know, again, personality is personality. They may not fit the stereotype we might think in our brain, but at least be open to that conversation, because it's a conversation that now I guess we've got some time to take. You know, when we've got a little bit more scope in the digital realm. Yeah.
Plus, I think hiring processes right now may not be as high pressure, time sensitive as they used to be, because the economy being as it is, when somebody hires in this market right now, in a pandemic market, I would suspect that they vet their candidates a little more thoroughly than they used to, if it's not an essential position that needs to be filled immediately. So that leaves the hiring process with a little bit more buffer time to do some of these cultural and personality assessments. Not that companies haven't been doing those already, but I think companies that haven't been thinking about this in the past may think about this now.
I was wondering, just as we're talking about this, is there the possibility of, you know, when you hire somebody in the in-person world, you interview them, they come to the office, you give them an office or a cubicle or whatever the space they're going to be working in, and they're kind of there. So it becomes, you know, you really have to make it work. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't kind of morph, the more digital approach doesn't morph into a little bit of lackadaisical approach to saying, well, we'll hire this person, we'll just suck it and see. We'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't work out, no, but they're kind of out of sight, out of mind in many cases. So I'm just wondering, has anybody kind of looked at that possibility? There's just something that popped into my brain. It may have nothing to do with the culture, but I'm just saying.
Well, I think a lot of companies are looking at this, because I've been involved in a project all year since February, and we will wind it down by the end of November this year, with a medical device manufacturer from the Silicon Valley. So there's myself and two more facilities, one in Europe and one in India. And we've been working with their IT support staff, which is dispersed remotely all across North America, all across Central Europe, and in Central India. So their work has been, or their work with each other has been virtual for a long time. Right? Sure, some of them see each other in the office, but the Budapest and Zurich office don't see the Palo Alto people in the office, nor do they see the Pune people in the office. So what we did with that client, or what we are continuing to do with that client, to help them develop a work code of honor. So how do we want to communicate with each other in light of physical separation and in light of pandemic restrictions? So what will be our company typical behaviors that we as a team adhere to? And everybody gets a voice, and we're distilling it for them, with them. So we're not doing the work for them, but we're facilitating a conversation that allows them to distill their code of honor, their joint rules of engagement, so to say.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting if you. And I mean, would that be a document that they would do? Yes. Is it something that's distilled down to maybe a couple of points that somebody can slap on their, on their board near their computer? That's a great approach.
Yeah, because we the first work that we've done with them, the three of us, we worked into their offices. I saw their office here in Atlanta, and the other one in Palo Alto, and the other two facilitators worked in their respective offices. The first thing I noticed is, in that company, they have the big television screens, and you see their company values displayed on the screens, and there's a rolling quotes, we believe this, and blah, blah, blah. And having worked with a company, I would say these values are not random, or they're not wall tattoos. Right? This is not something that just is there and people ignore it. but it's not something that they developed internally. This is something that is corporate speak.
Right.
So now with this group of people, it's a total of almost 100, or by now probably 120 IT support specialists in a very specialized industry. They together are developing the values that they want to adhere to. North Americans, Central Americans, South Americans, Europeans, Australians, Asians, really, really wonderful work that they're doing together.
Yeah. And so it becomes, they all take ownership of it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. That's great. Excellent. Well, what a great example. I think that's something that everybody could. We do. When we're visiting offices, you see a lot of those. They're in there to kind of, they're in peripheral vision, but they're there for a purpose to kind of just to see that this is a goal, this is our vision, these are our values. Then that's kind of missing in the digital space, I bet, for a lot of companies. So maybe I guess email tags can be one thing, one place where you could possibly do this. Because what we're talking about is cultural competence here, but there's some things that are ubiquitous across cultures, and visual things that come up possibly that is distilled and that you've had some input into is really something that we would respond to. So even email signatures, even collaboration software. If I'm on a couple of collaboration software teams, and I find that every now and again somebody puts up a sticker or a meme or something that communicates that general kind of feeling, and it just kind of becomes a bit of a sense of attachment. Everybody comments on it, goes, "That's great. That's a good reminder," and so that's something that is culturally ubiquitous, but still making sure that everybody's got buy-in is a great way to approach it. Yeah.
I agree, because then it becomes the group's behavior, not something that they're told to do by the HR department or by the C-suite, right? So it's organically grown from within the group. What this company has recognized is that with the virtual work plus the work from home due to the pandemic, a lot of the water cooler talk is gone. A lot of the, hey, checking in with you on the shop floor or in the hallway or at the coffee maker. So that is gone. So what they decided to do, especially the relationship culture in India, said we need to get to know our American and our European counterparts. We don't know enough about them. It's hard for us to build a trust level with them if we don't get to know them better. So what they've decided to do is let's create a virtual water cooler. So project teams, they carve out their own 30, 45 minutes during the week. They find a time zone or a time slot that's good for all the time zones. And they come to that, I don't know, Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever platform meeting. And no shop talk, no work talk. It's, hey, how was your week? How's the dog? How's Aunt Betty doing? Well, whatever it may be.
What's the cricket scores?
Exactly.
Very important, these cricket scores, of course. No, that's a great idea. So remember that it is there are some things that are just basic human tendencies that we all respond to, but there are some cultural ways in which they are approached. So in this digital age where people are working from home and they've got specific challenges that they're dealing with, and opportunities, then we need to be cognizant of that. Absolutely. And we appreciate any comments, any feedback, any suggestions you have. What's worked where you work? What hasn't worked where you work? What do you wish could be implemented? And we'll see if we can get some of these ideas together and spread the word. That would be great.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So,
plus, this whole storm thing has created a new opportunity for everybody who's watching, because I was supposed to host a webinar today on the topic of IQ plus CQ plus EQ. Now, with our internet and power situation at the office, that wasn't possible, so we had to push it to next week. So November 4th is the new date.
Yes.
You'll find it. I'll post it on all the socials, so you still have time to sign up, because we're going to highlight some of the skills you will need in this work from home, work from car, or work from, I don't know, grandma's house, through the lens of culture and personality.
Absolutely. A nice cabin in the woods would be cool, with a,
How about a cabana on the beach?
That'll work too. That'd be very nice. That'd be very nice. Absolutely. Or a boat. Boat would be good. A wave board. The mind boggles. A bar, if we could go to a bar. There was I saw an example of this. I think it was in Ireland, where obviously bars and restaurants are struggling now, and there was an initiative to open up bars for people who were just sick of being at home, right? I mean, we're at home and we're working. Sometimes, I even did it when I was working from home, where under normal circumstances, I would just go to a coffee shop and just sit there because I wanted to be around people, right? And in this particular case, it's not so much about being around people, it's just being in a different atmosphere. So some of the bars, and especially I think it was Ireland, because they have those little kind of 𝙏𝙬𝙤𝙬, the little nooks inside the Irish bars where people could kind of close them off, but people could sit there, and I guess maybe they gave you a pint as well if you wanted to. You didn't. Maybe if you're at work, you didn't have that in the camera. You just had that off to the side. But
would that be an issue to have that in the camera?
Well,
for some cultures it might be.
Probably would be for Ireland, yeah. Probably would be. It'd be like where the first question out of everybody's mouth: where is your Guinness? To be very stereotypical. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Another episode in the can, episode 84. Hopefully, power back tomorrow. Get yourself connected if we can.
Yes,
if not, we'll do it again. Who cares? We'll be back in some way, shape. It's about turning up every day. Thank you for turning up every day. See you guys. Bye.
See you.